Are we doing it? Hello, hello. Hello, we're live. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get the link and go ahead and put it in all the places. I almost forgot that I was gonna need to put these everywhere. So I have to go type in all the things. How's everyone doing this morning? Let me know how you're doing in the comments, in the chat. All right, let's see. Who do we got here this morning? Hello, hello, good morning. If you're here, go ahead, let me know in the chat, say hi. I'd love to be able to say hi to you. Gotta go still put the link everywhere. How's everyone doing this morning? Excited to be on spring break, I hope. All right. Definitely have lower numbers here today, so I have a feeling a lot of us are enjoying sleeping in, which is awesome. I hope there are lots of us who are able to do that. But also love for some people to chat with this morning. All right. Again, I'm just still putting the link to the video everywhere so that people who want to join in know that we're live. All right. And then we will get started. All right. So today, because we're a small group, I have a feeling I'm going to spend a lot more time talking, chatting, sort of just me, not saying as many hellos and highs. But I thought I would start today by just, as happy as we all are to be on spring break, I think a lot of us felt really glad when we had schoolwork to do, right? That we had people to talk to every day, had something to do every day. And I just want to remind us all of how great of a privilege it is to be able to even do online school, that we all have the technology, that your teachers all have the ability to kind of create these great lessons, so that we can feel so connected during this time. I think that has been a real joy for a lot of us. And I hope you all are feeling as lucky as I am, that we've had that opportunity. I think about even just when I was in school, that I would definitely just be getting packets at best, if we were in this situation, and they would be boring and it would be a lonely, lonely time. And so I'm so grateful that we are in this situation where we can do this together, so that even on spring break we can still have a YouTube live and get to say hi and feel connected. So I do have a book and a poem for today, and I think I'm actually going to switch it up a little bit and do the book first. So for our book talk, hey, good morning, Marissa. Nice to see you. All right. So for our book talk, Marissa, how are you doing this morning? We mostly have just been doing a little bit of chatting, and then we got the normal stuff, book talk and poem. I'm gonna start with the book talk. It's one that I've picked up, pretty recently. Good morning, Miss Garcia. Marissa, thank you for asking. I'm doing pretty well. It was nice to have a couple of days to sleep in, and I'm glad, that we can all say hi on YouTube this morning. Um, so I started reading this book. I'm actually listening to it. I got it on Hoopla, which is like one of the free resources that we have through the San Francisco Public Library. You can really get it through any public library that you're associated with. But I started listening to it. It's called "They Both Die at the End" by Adam Silvera. Um, and I had heard of this book actually from a student book talk, and just the title really intrigued me. It reminds me of all of these, like, ancient Greek plays or even, some Shakespeare, like a Romeo and Juliet, where they tell you exactly what's gonna happen at the very beginning. In this case, it's in the title. It says they both die at the end. And so what's interesting about the book is not the ending, right? You know what's gonna happen at the end, but what is interesting and exciting about the book is how they get there. Um, so they both die at the end is told from two perspectives, which if you've heard me talk about books for a long time, you probably know that's one of the things I love most in a book. I love being able to read from two different perspectives. Um, and it's from two like 17, 18-year-old boys. Um, Mateo, who his mom died in childbirth, and his dad is recently in a coma. Um, And he's sort of a loner, quiet, likes his video games and his books, and sort of likes being holed up. Um, and the other character that it's told from is Rufus. And Rufus watched his whole family, his mom, his dad, and his sister, um, die in a car accident. Their car flew into a river, and his whole family drowned. And so he has been in foster care and has found a really good connection with the kids who are in the same foster home as him, um, but is still really struggling with some of those demons. And so, what's so interesting about the book and how they both die at the end? In this book, they have what's called death cast, and what that means is they know when somebody is going to die. And they call him up on the phone and say, "So sorry, but you're gonna die in the next 24 hours." And by doing this, they have some ways that they can have a funeral while you're still alive. Um, they can help you make sure that all of your affairs are in order, that you have a will, but also that you can spend your last day doing whatever it is you really want to do. And so at the start of the book, both of these boys get their phone call from Deathcast. Um, And Mateo really struggles with even just like leaving the house. He's terrified to go out into the world that he knows is going to kill him that day. But he really wants to be able to say goodbye to his best friend and to his dad, even though his dad is in a coma. Um, and so the boys meet on this like friend app of like people who just need a new friend in their last day, and they sort of go off on this adventure to live their last day together. Um, so it's really interesting. I'm only about a third of the way through it right now, so I can't give any recommendations on the ending or whatever. But it's really interesting. Um, it reminds me a little bit of To Be or Not to Be, just in that sense of um, that plot point around death, not necessarily in the tone or the sarcasm or the humor or the wit or whatever. It's not quite in the style. Um, so it's really interesting because it feels a lot like just normal YA fiction, with just this little hint of science fiction in there. And it's not so much, they don't talk a lot about really any of the function. It seems like nobody in their society really knows how DeathCast works. How does it predict these deaths? They just know that it does. Um, and it's been a recent invention. Um, so there are lots of people who lived before it and are now living during it. So it's really good. I really recommend it. And even if that book doesn't seem interesting, I really recommend um, finding some new ways to listen to read and listen to books during this time. Um, it's a really good time if you've never read an audiobook or if you've never read an ebook to try those out because that might be a really good way for you to get your reading um, in a way that might actually end up working better for you than reading physical books, especially if you're having trouble getting your hands on physical books right now. So yeah. All right. Um, so with that, I'm gonna go to our poem of the day. And I just pulled this one again from poets.org, poem a day. Um, this one is called When White Hawks Come by Ding Nanook Okpik. Um, I really like it. It's really short, um, but it's the structure of it is so interesting. I'll actually try to show it to you a little bit. Maybe you can see it that way. The structure, the spacing is really interesting to me, um, and the imagery is just really intense for being such a short poem. So, when white hawks come, I dreamt the spirit of the codfish in rafters of the mind. Fly out into the winter's blue night, mirth of alder tendrils sachet, while I set up my winter tent. 4 panels long, beams suspend. I sit and pull blubber strips, aged in a poke bag. I'm shadowing the sun as a new moon icicle. Time melts when white hawks come. And I just really love that one. I don't know what it's been, but since we have been under self quarantine, isolation, social distancing, whatever you want to call it, I've been really taken by poems with nature imagery. I just find them so like touching and interesting, um, and I'm just really drawn to those kinds of poems right now. Um, And I'd love some recommendations. A lot of the poets that I know really well are contemporary poets talking about a lot of, like, current social issues or social justice issues, um, and so I'm curious if anyone in the chat, in the live today, has any recommendations, for poets or poetry with sort of that nature imagery, that nature feel. I'd love to hear about it. Alright, I'm curious, how are we doing this morning? I know, Marissa, I heard you said you were doing good. Do you have any big spring break at home plans? Um, working on passion projects maybe? Have any good books that we're reading? I'm curious to hear a little bit more. We have about 5 more minutes before we usually end. I'd love to chat, see what's going on. Marissa, I haven't been reading much poetry. Plan on reading more the next couple of days. Awesome. Have you been doing, the AP review videos? I know that we had talked about that in class. Some people were sort of interested, some people weren't. Um, but those have all been poetry focused so far. My big spring break plan, is I gotta clean up this room. You guys see the cleanest part of it. It's not even that clean. Marissa, you got The Handmaid's Tale? Oh, I love that book. I love that book. It is so good. Oh, I'm so excited for you. Yeah, you guys see the cleanest part of this room, but there's a reason why these closet doors are always closed, and there's a reason why you cannot see the rest of it. It is a mess, and it has become even more of a mess, um, because this is the room where I'm now doing all of my work from home, but it is also the room where I do all of my sewing, um, and it's like an office. So, like, as I've been doing more sewing, because that's part of my passion project, you can't see the desk. It's a crazy mess. Um, so I've been doing all my sewing here. I've been doing all my work from home here, and it's tax season, so I got all of like my papers everywhere. We gotta clean up this room today. But yeah. Marissa, have you started reading The Handmaid's Tale yet? Or did you just have it and are getting ready to read it? Oh, two of the videos didn't work for you. Oh, shoot. Um, I bet I could find it and put a link in here for you. Let me see if I can do that. Because I watched the first 2. I didn't see the 3rd one yet. Um, but they're still going. They'll have one, like, today, they'll have one tomorrow, um, and so that might be really fun. Um, Let me see if I can find the right place. You plan on starting to read it today? Awesome. Oh, it is so good. Have you seen the TV show, or is the book the first time you're coming at it? I didn't see the Hulu show. I actually still haven't seen it.
Never. For real.
Oh, hold on. I found the video, but now it's like playing on my computer. Hold on. Give me a second.
Never.
So Marissa, I found the whole playlist. Oh, interesting. There have been a couple more, and that is very interesting. Okay. So Marissa, the link that I just put in the chat, is the video, um, the, like, playlist of all of the English literature videos, so then hopefully if you're on that link, you'll see all the new ones as they are added to it. Yeah, so Marissa, there is a TV show of it, it's on Hulu. I would totally read the book first. From what people said, um, the TV show takes, like, a little bit of a turn away from the book, and I don't know that people thought that it was a good turn. Um, so yeah, definitely read the book. Um, I can't recommend or not recommend the TV show. I haven't seen it. Definitely read the book first though. It's not even necessarily a really hard read. It's pretty fast paced, and it's like a normal novel length, 300 pages. Um, so it's definitely like you could finish that over spring break for sure, for sure. All right. So with that, let's see. Alina recommended it. Awesome. Awesome. I didn't know that Alina had read it. That's awesome. All right. Well, with that, I have to go clean up this mess. It is giving me anxiety. Um, and I will see you all tomorrow, bright and early, 8 a.m. Staying on top of it, even when we don't have school. So I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the time off. Stay connected digitally, not in real life. And I will see you all tomorrow. Always remember who you are, what you represent, and to show your Mustang pride. Bye, guys.